Its big guns. Have you driven a Ford lately was the last concern of Chevrolet's bow tie brigade as they unleashed the new Monte Carlo on Daytona's historic high banks. There wasn't a Ford in sight to watch the duel between Sterling Marlin and Dale Earnhardt. The second Daytona in a row for Marlin. For Dale, the Daytona 500 remains an elusive dream.
It's the Daytona 500. I ain't supposed to win the damn thing, right?
Oh, yeah. I like his place.
Nobody was laughing as Brooke Gordon and everyone else watched her husband Jeff at the wheel of his Chevy Monte Carlo dominated Rockingham, leading 391 of 492 laps and positioning himself as one to watch in NASCAR. And Terry Labonte took Richmond, making it 3 straight for Chevrolet and 2 in a row for car owner Rick Hendrick. Can Chevrolet continue their winning ways? We're about to find out. The 4th race of the season at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the Purolator 500.
One thing, John Kernan, the jury is not out about in the early going of 1995 is the Young Lions and their performance thus far.
Jack, to see how well the Young Lions are doing this season, and in particular here at Atlanta, you need to look no further than the front row. That's where Bobby Labonte, a third-year Winston Cup driver, starts the race today. Now, 2 weeks ago, in only his 3rd race for car owner Joe Gibbs, he finished 2nd behind another Young Lion, Jeff Gordon, with 3 career victories to his credit in 3 years on the circuit. Now, both of these drivers expect to have good days today, but they are in Chevrolets.
After problems, we'll tell you a little bit more about it later as we get ready for the green flag.
Ernie Irvin is on the flag stand for the wave of the green flag. There it is, and the Purolator 500 is underway.
And a crash. Mike Wallace in the inside wall. The right rear tire is down.
Didn't even get to the start-finish line, and our first caution waves here on the Speedway. Mike Wallace's car rather badly damaged, Benny.
And under NASCAR rules, these cars are really racing back to the start-finish line.
Looks like it will be Dale Earnhardt who leads them around, and he will lead for the 25th race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He has now led for every race that has been run in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series this year. We're about to go green, hopefully for the first time, and complete some laps here under green. Dale Earnhardt is at the front of the field at the moment with Bobby Labonte and Darrell Waltrip right behind him. The pace car pulls off of the racetrack in corner number 4 as we await the green flag, and there it is. Ernie Irvin still waves the green flag, the honorary starter for today's race. And now let's see if we can get some laps of competition in.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. Ernie said, hey, I didn't get these guys, didn't run a complete lap, so I'm going to wave the green one more time.
Positions being fought for at the tail of the field, but up front they're in single file formation as Earnhardt once again leads them down in front of Bobby Labonte. They pulled away a little bit from the 3rd place competitor at the moment, who is Darrell Waltrip. And right on his back bumper is Jeff Gordon.
Second place, the 18 car, Interstate Battery car. What a great job he's been doing this year in the car.
We haven't seen a whole lot of passing up front, Benny. Is this a period of adjustment, of finding out what your car can do and seeing what the other guy can do?
Exactly. Just ride a few laps, see what the chassis is going to do. Right there is going to be the trouble spot today, coming off turn 4. That's where the cars, after a few laps, after about 30, 35 laps, start picking up a push.
But the push now becomes a problem, primarily for a couple of cars up front, including Jeff Gordon, and his car is plowing coming out of turn 4.
Jeff Gordon and Darrell Waltrip and the others have fallen back from the top 2. And now Jeff Gordon begins to make a move as he goes to the inside of Darrell Waltrip, and they battle for 3rd position entering turn number 3. Gordon has it. Terry Labonte will come along on the inside and try also to take a position away from Darrell Waltrip. They run down the straightaway side by side. That's the 10 car.
We've been watching Jeff Gordon closing in.
He is a man on the move. He has closed up the interval between himself and second place Labonte and Earnhardt. Look how he has done it. Lap number 30, he was 1.4 seconds behind, and on the 33rd lap, he had closed that interval to 0.6 of a second. And there you can see that he is now only about 2 car lengths behind second place Bobby Labonte. So Jeff Gordon at the moment, the man on the move.
And we can see that he consistently is running faster laps than Dale Earnhardt. And that's exactly what they're looking for right now is consistency. Jerry Punch, what about Jeff Gordon?
Well, he doesn't have the problem that the 2 cars in front of him have, and that is both Earnhardt and Bobby Labonte have complained to their crew chiefs that their cars are loose getting into the corner. Gordon's car, in fact, is quite a bit tighter. He has a bit of a push coming off, so Gordon actually can run his car on into the corner, throw the car to the turn, and that's one of the reasons he has narrowed the gap. Also, that's the reason Bobby Labonte hasn't tried to dive beneath Earnhardt. His car is already very, very loose. Back upstairs.
That's what they're trying to do. They're starting the race a little bit loose because they feel like as the
10, then 3 Fords and a Pontiac. Now better balanced with 6 Chevys and 4 Fords.
John Kernan has a report. John?
Talking about the teams fighting a loose handling problem. We saw the 33 car of Robert Presley hit just a few laps ago. That was the reason. The car was so loose he couldn't hardly drive it. They brought it in, put on 4 new tires, and made a chassis.
Gordon just passed Bobby Labonte and took over second position, and now Gordon sets his sights on the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Has that Gordon been phenomenal this year?
He sure has. He's won 2 pole positions already this year, and this is how he got second from Labonte.
Down in turn 1, he simply gets a good run, drives down to the inside, and as Jerry Punch said, his car is tight enough that he's able to do that. Drive the car in a little farther than Labonte and take the spot away.
Now we'll see if he can close up on Dale Earnhardt. It looks like he is.
I would say so.
There in the 3rd turn, he closed in about 2 car lengths on Earnhardt.
Everyone said in about 40 laps they would really like to stop and change tires. They wouldn't be able to because the gasoline, the tires are not worn out. They're just starting to slip and slide.
Here's a field summary for you as you look for your favorite driver and where he is currently running in this race. Jeff Gordon had a good Daytona, a bad pit stop, won Rockingham, qualified for the pole at Richmond, and now is in second position here at Atlanta.
There he is. I knew he was out there someplace.
And Gordon has been able to come within about 6 car lengths or 5, but cannot move any closer. And so Dale Earnhardt continues to hang on to the lead as we have completed 49 out of 328 laps in the Purolator 500 from Atlanta. Back in a moment.
4 laps into the record book now in the Purolator 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Dale Earnhardt has led right from the first lap, but Jeff Gordon is beginning to run him down. Also on the move, Mark Martin and Kenny Schrader.
Mark Martin currently in 5th position, and Kenny Schrader is in 12th. The 3rd time this afternoon because of debris on the racetrack. And so we watch now the race to the caution flag. And here they come off the corner. Jeff Gordon will make no challenge. Earnhardt has the lead as we slow the pace down because of debris on the racetrack.
Boy, oh boy, was this a great caution flag or what?
Well timed.
Well timed for all these guys who really wanted to get in and get some new tires on. New tires just have a certain feel to them. They stick to the racetrack so much better than worn tires, hot tires. Now they're telling.
Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, Dale Earnhardt will pit as they all will on the lead lap, and they will make no changes on the Goodrich Chevrolet. We were told even though the car's been a little bit loose, this track gets tighter as the day goes on, so they're going to leave the car as is and just make a regular routine 4-tire change. Likewise, the same. No changes at all for Jeff Gordon in the car number 24. Back upstairs.
We can see the triple split. The 3 car on top, the 6 car on the bottom, and 24 in the middle.
Mark Martin's crew was finished on the right side first. Let's see if he can. Yeah,
he's moving. But Earnhardt is 7. Both those cars are down towards turn 1. And Mark will gain 1 spot. He got by the 5 car of Labonte as he left the pit. Picked up 1 spot.
Earnhardt with a 19.1, but his car was pitted way down toward turn number 1, the first pit stall, and an 18.7 for the other two. Here's Jackaroo.
Well, Bob, if you don't think that these crews are competitive, when Mark Martin came in, they actually had a lookout checking down on the progress. First,
That was the right front tire. Maybe 4 or 5 more laps, and Ricky would have bought some concrete.
Thank you, Jerry. The green flag comes out.
And it's still Dale Earnhardt up front, closely pursued by Jeff Gordon. Now, Mark Martin is 4th in line. Bobby Labonte ahead of him. Let's see if Mark Martin can.
75, 7, and 11. As look, Gordon trying to look on the inside of Earnhardt coming off turn 4.
Yeah, the start-finish line. He had his nose to the inside of Earnhardt, wanting the line. And now let's see if he has enough momentum build up in turn number 2 to make the pass down the backstretch. Gordon works to the inside of Earnhardt, and he passes him and takes the lead. Jeff Gordon becomes our second leader, but look at Earnhardt come back.
You knew he was going up the hill, and you knew Earnhardt was coming back on the inside. Who will lead this lap? Is it Jeff Gordon?
By inches.
Now this, Jeff let Earnhardt go up the hill. You get under him. Oh, no, don't do this, guys. As Labonte goes by, as these fellas gets picked up, he takes the lead.
Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt touched in turn number 1 just enough to let Bobby Labonte, who was running 3rd, dive below both of them and pick up the lead. And let's see if Labonte will have it at the line where the 5 Winston Cup points are awarded. Indeed, he will.
As Mark Martin, his in-car camera, there he is, the 6th car, loudly forward, followed closely by Terry Labonte. Now watch this. Coming down the front straightaway, they will go in turn 1 side by side. And watch as Earnhardt gets the car a little bit out of shape in 1 and got to go up the hill. Gordon gives him room.
But they touch. And Labonte, you could just see Bobby Labonte sitting back there saying, these guys are going to do something that's going to allow me to take the lead, and indeed that happened. The question now is, might there be slight damage to the 24 or the 3 car that might come up later?
I don't think the touch was that hard. I really don't.
Twice at this racetrack, but never this race. Now Jeff Gordon goes to the inside of Bobby Labonte like he was standing still. Wow. And Gordon comes back into the lead. Now let's see if Earnhardt can pick up 2nd spot.
Has Jeff led the race? I don't know that he has. He has now, that's for sure.
Well, I think he led that 1 lap where he got it by just inches a few laps ago. There are your top 4. Gordon, Labonte, Earnhardt, and Labonte. Bobby 2nd, Terry 4th. Jerry Punch can update us from the pits.
Well, we told you earlier Dale Earnhardt's car was a little bit loose. You saw it firsthand a moment ago when he tried to go beneath Jeff Gordon. You wonder why wouldn't they tighten up Earnhardt's car? Well, the reason they won't is because of what I showed you a moment ago in Ricky Rudd's pit. If they tighten the car up in the rear, it puts more pressure on the right front tire. Meanwhile, both crew chiefs in the 24 and 3 pits report that there was no damage, just their drivers had to take a moment too to catch their breaths. Back upstairs.
I bet that's for sure.
There's the first 4 cars. Jeff Gordon pulled away by 3 or 4 car lengths.
Currently is being led by Jeff Gordon, and he has stretched out the advantage a little bit on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, and Terry Labonte. The number 1 car that Michael's about to pass. Here's the leader, Jeff Gordon, and he is the only other driver besides Dale Earnhardt to lead every race so far in 1995.
And there you can tell just how much 1.3 seconds is.
Jeff Gordon finished 4th in this race in 1993 and finished 8th last year.
Well, we didn't need to call anybody to help set this car up because Ray Evernham and Jeff Gordon is doing very well setting up this 24 car, the DuPont car. And look,
remember a few laps ago we showed how he closed the interval? Well, now we show him widening the interval between himself and 2nd place. On lap 80 to lap 83, he lengthened out the interval between himself and 2nd place Bobby Labonte.
In turn 1.
Here is the leader, Jeff Gordon, continuing to set the pace. Look at the interval now between himself and 2nd place Bobby Labonte, and he is indeed stretching it out. In 3rd place now is Terry Labonte, and 4th is Dale Earnhardt. Mark Martin runs 5th in the Purolator 500. NASCAR Winston Cup race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, tonight on ABC starts with an hour of America's funniest home videos, followed by an all-new Lois and Clark. Then a network premiere on the Sunday night movie. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman star in Far and Away, all tonight on ABC. While we were in break, we had a couple of positions change. Now, Jeff Gordon continues to be the leader of this race, but Mark Martin picked up a spot. So Jeff Gordon now has the lead, but Terry Labonte is currently in second position.
Now we see him going by Jeff Burton. That's the leader. Jeff Gordon passing Jeff Burton.
And Burton is running 26, so there are now 25 cars on the lead lap. So is Billy Standridge there in 47 that Marcus was running along with.
Now, Joe Nemechek, the 87 that Jeff Gordon just put a lap on.
And that means that there are 23 cars now on the lead lap as Nemechek is in 24th. Let's see how much of an interval there is between the leader and Dale Earnhardt, the pole sitter. There he is.
Practically the entire back straightaway. I tell you one thing, he better get his owner, Rick Hendrick, to talk to the 24 car and tell Jeff to slow down a little bit. He's going to win this race.
Gordon setting a rather furious pace here.
And there's Kyle Petty.
He has now put a lap on Kyle. Kyle was in 22nd position. 21 cars on the lead lap, and the next to go a lap down would be Steve Grissom.
And there's Grissom right in front of Jeff Gordon. The black and yellow car is Grissom.
And just ahead of Grissom is Lake Speed in the number 9 machine. Here's Jerry Punch with a report on Jeff Gordon.
Guys, the news just couldn't be any better out of the Jeff Gordon pits. Now, they ran 58 laps on their first pit stop. All 4 tires came off, and there was essentially no wear at all on those tires. The air pressure buildup was minimal. The tire temperature was absolutely perfect, and to make matters worse for the competition, they're getting outstanding fuel mileage. In fact, they will run 67 laps on this fuel stop, according to Ray Evernham, and they will probably not come in until lap 125. That spells a lot of problems, possibly, for the competition. Bob?
Awesome performance so far by Jeff Gordon.
I sure hope some of those teams down there with their radios aren't monitoring ABC today, because they will be dejected if they were. If they are.
He has led the most laps now total in 1995. Jeff Gordon has.
Jerry, let's go down to you and Jeff Gordon's pit.
You think there isn't teamwork in auto racing? Well, the Hendrick Motorsports teams are working together. They brought Gordon in and told Terry Labonte, stay out because we want you to lead a lap. Here is the DuPont Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon in. It should be a routine pit stop. They plan no chassis adjustment, no air pressure change. They will clean the windshield, change all 4 tires, fill it up with fuel, and he will be down and away. Meanwhile, his teammate, Terry Labonte, gets to lead a lap and pick up 5 bonus points. Teamwork does exist here in NASCAR.
Foreign tires in these other cars with the new tires.
Here comes Jeff Gordon, though, coming up on Lake Speed and Kyle Petty. Talk about effort on pit road, Benny. You'll stand with all of the pit stops having been made. It is Jeff Gordon now resuming the lead of this event with Terry Labonte second, Bobby Labonte third, fourth is Dale Earnhardt, and fifth is Ricky Rudd.
And we see Jeff Gordon going by Michael Waltrip, putting him a lap down. Michael is in 13th position. Now only 12 cars on the lead lap.
And Jack Arute has information on how Mark Martin managed to run out of fuel.
Well, Benny Parsons, I have a question for
Jeff Gordon continues to lead here on a beautiful day at Atlanta Motor Speedway. ABC's coverage continues in a moment. 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, it's this time of year every year we become insanely jealous of Paul Page, who will be on a plane in a few hours headed for Australia. And our coverage of the Australian IndyCar Grand Prix next Sunday at 4 o'clock. Page, you don't have to leave a week early to go cover this IndyCar race.
Bob, it's a 19-hour trip. You got to get over there. You got to relax.
But you gain a day when you go over there.
Bob, don't remind me.
Surfer's paradise, huh? What a place.
I don't surf, I wave.
We look forward to the coverage next Sunday here on ABC. Here's a field summary for you as you check out your favorite driver and where he is running in this 500-mile NASCAR race. Jeff Gordon has things all to himself. We have had 6 leaders and 7 lead changes so far in this race. 3 caution periods for a total of 15 laps. And the average speed of the race is 142.4 miles an hour. And Jeff Gordon, the leader of the race, is setting a pace of about 171 at the moment.
We can see what Jeff Gordon is doing to the competition. Bodine brothers, Jeff and Brett, 3, and Mark Martin is going a lap down.
And boy, did he get cost him dearly when he ran out of fuel and the crew had trouble getting their car restarted, and now Mark Martin goes a lap down.
There we see Rusty Wallace, and right behind Rusty is Jeff Gordon.
So Rusty and Greg Sachs both stand to go a lap down.
You know, everyone back in the winter was talking about how hard that Ray Evernham and the entire DuPont crew was working. You know, back around Christmas, they were talking about them working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and everyone said, why are they working so hard? Now, we know why they're working so hard.
And their hard work has paid off. He has his 7.5-second lead on second place Terry Labonte, and almost a little over 20-second lead on the 5th place car. So Jeff Gordon is indeed making a shambles of this race.
And all they got to do is look in the rearview mirror, and they will see
something that they don't want to see.
Exactly. The leader of the race.
Continued, so Bodine decided to pull it into the pits. As you look out on the racetrack, Jeff Gordon trying to put a lap on Rusty Wallace. Paul Andrews and the crew looking over Jeff Bodine's car. Remember last fall, Jeff Bodine ran really well here. They had a similar problem to this, feeling the vibration. They finally found the problem in the front suspension. But right now, Paul Andrews, Danny Glad, and the rest of the crew are checking under the car to see exactly what the problem might be, but they still haven't found it.
And with Jeff Gordon putting a lap on Rusty Wallace, we now have 9 cars on the lead lap. And Benny, I think if you were to take a poll in the garage area before this race started, most people would have said, yep, it's going to be a runaway in this event today, but they would have said Earnhardt was going to run away with it and not Jeff Gordon.
Well, I think that's true, although most of them did say that the 24 car was running awfully well. Understatement.
Yes, he is. Earnhardt, meanwhile, continues to run in 4th position behind the 2 Labontes, Terry and Bobby. And meanwhile, here comes those on the lead lap down to the pits. Here's Jackaroo.
Well, no changes on the second place car, Terry Labonte. Gary Dehart says the biggest difference between he and his teammate, Jeff Gordon, who was running out front, is the fact that the leader can pick through traffic a little bit easier. Let's check in with Jerry Bunch.
They have already changed right-side tires on Jeff Gordon's car. No change, no chassis adjustment, no air pressure adjustment. He is down and away. And likewise, just behind him, here is Bobby Labonte trying to beat Terry Labonte out of the pit road as Dale Earnhardt still gets some work done on his Goodrich Chevrolet.
Of Jeremy Mayfield. But he's okay, and the leaders have completed their pit stops. Now others do. We'll take a break right here from our live coverage of the Purolator 500. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where we have gone green once again from our caution period. And Jeff Gordon continues to lead this race. Rusty Wallace tried desperately when the green flag came out to get a lap back. He was positioned right alongside Jeff Gordon for the restart. But as you can see, he was unable to do so. And so Rusty Wallace continues to be a lap down in 10th position. Here's John Kernan with Jeremy Mayfield.
Well, Bob, we've just crossed the halfway point in this race. Right now, it is, of course, Jeff Gordon, the leader. He has been dominant through the early part of this race. Debris, and everybody headed for the pits. Mark Martin on that stop, driving the 4, and of course, moved up 1 position and was with the leaders of the race. But then on lap 63, Jeff Gordon took back over. And he has been the dominant power ever since then.
And now we see Terry Labonte beginning to close in on Jeff Gordon for the lead.
That's the closest anybody's been to Jeff Gordon all day.
It's still a few car lengths, but Terry Labonte may be making a race out of this. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Next Next Saturday at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, the Professional Bowlers Tour lights up the lanes on Long Island at the Bud Light Championship. And then ABC's Wide World of Sports travels to Romania. A legendary gymnast goes back to her homeland for a reunion with her family and a special performance. Nadia Comaneci returns to Romania Saturday here on ABC Sports. Jeff Gordon is the leader of the Purolator 500 with 178 laps completed. The number
in the pits right now.
He has been on the track, but he's in the pits at the moment.
There we see Jeff Gordon in the get it back in the garage area.
There's the interval between first and second as Terry Labonte chases Jeff Gordon. Terry's brother Bobby running back in third position. Both of these drivers have already won a race in 1995. Look to be the favorites to record a second one, possibly to become the first two-time winner in 1995. Look at this. Jeff has a 1.3-second lead on Terry and 3.1 on Bobby and 6.3 and 7.3 on Earnhardt and Marlin running back and fourth and fifth.
And everyone thought that Dale Earnhardt would be the car to beat today.
Lose positions now back to 28 spots, 6 laps down. Jeff Gordon passes the 77 car driven by Davy Jones. We see that Gordon is stretching out the interval once again, Benny.
Yes, what it was, I think it was 1.3, I'm sorry, the last time we saw the interval. Now it's 3.4, so he's gained a couple of seconds on Terry Labonte.
And again, running very consistent laps. They only vary 0.3 of a second. Now going to the outside and putting another lap on Kyle Petty. Kyle is now 2 laps down in 18th. Jerry is down in the Rick Hendrick pits. Boy, what a great day they're having, Jerry.
Exactly, Bob. If it isn't tough enough to be a car owner for one car in Winston Cup, how about the guy behind me, Rick Hendrick, who owns 3 cars, all 3 in the top 9. In fact, our leader, Jeff Gordon, second place car, Terry Labonte, and 9th place car, Kenny Schrader. Let's find out what's going through Hendrick's mind here. Rick, partner, second. Hey, you got 2 cars running 1 and 2. Now, what goes through your mind when you see Terry Labonte beginning to move in a little bit on Jeff Gordon?
You know, I want to see him race, Jerry, but you don't want to see anything happen. In Martinsville, we were running 1-2. It took them 2 of them out. So just want them to run hard and stay apart. I don't make any difference who's in front of each other. Just don't want any friction between the 2 cars.
In the interest of fairness, now you got 3 drivers. Now, Gordon won at Rockingham, Labonte won at Richmond. This should be Schrader's turn by all rights.
Kenny's running a good race today. Darlington is really his track. You know, it's a long ways to go today, but he ought to be really tough at Darlington. He's due. We want to see him win a race.
Rick, we understand the 5 car may be slowing slightly. Have you heard anything on your radios?
Car's just a little bit loose right now. So, you know, he's still got a pretty comfortable lead on third, so we're just kind of riding right now.
Thanks a lot. Good luck to you.
Now the DuPont crew, Ray Everett says, get this car out of here. I want to pit. Here my car comes right now. Move.
But here comes Jeff Gordon. He's going to be pitting right beside it, Jerry.
And actually, NASCAR would allow some adjustment because of the car in the middle of pit road. Ray Evernham felt helpless and he could not get the Dick Trickle Ford to move. Meanwhile, they have already changed the right side tires on the car number 24. Left side tires go up. They clean the windshield. They spray the windshield. It's full of fuel as Gordon's pit stop is completed. And Dick Trickle's car.
But out on the racetrack, it is still Jeff Gordon's race. Gordon has completed his pit stop and finds himself back out into the lead once again. We'll take another break and be back with more of our live ABC coverage of the Purolator 500. Tomorrow night on ABC, it's an all-new episode of Coach at 8/7 Central. Then Shelley Fabre guests on a special edition of A Whole New Ball Game. Then Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman star in the dramatic conclusion of Far and Away, all tomorrow night on ABC. While Jeff Gordon continues to lead this race, let's go back and find out what happened to Dick Trickle. First of all, meanwhile, while that was going on, Jeff Gordon, the leader of the race, had to come in for a pit stop, and his pit was located almost directly beside the problems that Dick Trickle was having. Now let's go to Jerry Punch.
Guys, the problem Trickle had doesn't happen very often.
I think you held it cold down in the garage here, the most impressive driver of 1995. I guess Jeff Gordon would be first. Bobby Labonte would certainly have to be second.
Let's try to show you some of the, actually we'll try to show you all of the drivers that are out there. There's the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Continued on, but there goes a leader right by him.
Putting him another lap down. That'll make him 5 laps down.
The only car I think we haven't seen is Ted Musgrave, and he is slow. Ooh! Did they almost make contact?
Are all the cars that are on the racetrack, and there is Jeff Gordon. How much of a lead does he have? 13.2 on Terry Labonte, and back to Sterling Marlin in 5th. There's 21.7 seconds. Jeff Gordon is looking for his second victory of 1995. We'll be right back.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Purolator 500, we have 251 of 328 laps into the record book. You're looking at the leader, Jeff Gordon. ABC seems to be lucky for Jeff. Remember, he won the Brickyard 400 last year, and he has been the dominant power in this race thus far. At the start of the race, we talked about the young comers within NASCAR racing. He is certainly one of them. Down in 3rd position right now is the 18 car, Bobby Labonte, so he's had a pretty good day as well. In that battle between Ford and Chevrolet, well, they've started out with 6 Chevys in the top 10, 3 Fords and 1 Pontiac. Now it's 6 Chevys and 4 Fords, and the hope seems to be Morgan Shepherd, who currently runs in 6th place. So it's a fairly faint hope at that. Let's go pit side and Jerry Punch.
Jeff Gordon's pit crew has been nicknamed the Rainbow Warriors because of the brightly colored uniforms that they wear as associated with their sponsor DuPont. Now, their pit board actually is a tomahawk with a rainbow attached. However, they have a ritual here in the Gordon pit. Whenever Gordon passes a car that's been on the lead lap, they reach over and pull that rainbow, and that tomahawk begins to chop here as Gordon goes by and gives it a big smile. How appropriate here in Atlanta we would have the tomahawk chop going on here at the Speedway.
Well, if you got to pull that thing, you've been pretty busy today because he has been cruising through this field constantly. We've had a light scattered cloud cover come over the speedway, but it hasn't affected the surface. Bright sun on the surface most of the way. Now, if they can continue to run green, we expect the next stops to come somewhere just before the 300th lap, and that should take them all the way to the checkered flag with just one more stop to go. Now Gordon closes on Jarrett, Ford's other hope, currently running in 8th place, and not if, but when he moves around that car, that will leave just 7 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, Jarrett, tell those guys to get ready because here he goes. Right on the outside of Dale Jarrett and goes right by him down the back straightaway. There it is.
All right, let's go to Jack Arute, who has a story on the 18 car driven by Bobby Labonte.
That now, Jerry, and hopefully after that comes groundbreaking. So that's the process.
With some 69 Fortune 500 companies involved in our sport, it seems like Texas would be a market everyone would covet. Do you have a shot at getting a Winston Cup race there?
Oh, I tell you, I think that our sport needs that Dallas-Fort Worth market. It's a huge market in North Texas, or all of Texas. And of course, what I'm building there, I can assure you the whole Southwest will be proud of it. And we're putting everything we've learned in 35 years into it, and we're just thrilled about it. And I just can't wait to get started on it.
Well, we know if you're involved with it, and you are, it will be a first-class facility like Charlotte and like in Atlanta. Good luck to you.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that confidence, and I promise I won't let you down.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Mr. Bruton Smith here, chairman of the board for Bothing Speedway. Back to you.
We mentioned that the facility could provide a venue to which NASCAR Winston Cup would go, but will it, Benny?
I don't know, but certainly Bruton doesn't have a date in his pocket yet. And Billy France last November in New York said that the only way we can add dates now is drop a date. And I don't think we have anyone on the Winston Cup circuit that wants to drop a date. Bruton now has 4 races, 2 here in Atlanta, 2 in Charlotte, but certainly dropping one of those dates for Atlanta is not an option I think he wants to explore. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen. But I guarantee you, Bruton is so excited about building this racetrack. That's practically all he talks about is getting this racetrack in Texas off the ground.
If you key on something that he said there, it would be something the state of Texas would be proud of. If you use this track, you mentioned, Bob Jenkins, how long we've been coming here and what a substantial change has occurred here with the new condominiums and the VIP skyboxes and everything. Same thing over at Charlotte. They do build and maintain a really quality facility.
And there's no question that that is a good market for auto racing down there in that area, not only for the stock cars, but I'm sure the Indy cars, Paul, would also like to penetrate that market.
Oh, Dallas-Fort Worth, everybody wants to be there, and the Devil's Bowl at Mesquite is not serving the 100,000-person crowd.
You see, as we look back from Morgan Shepherd's car, the leader, Jeff Gordon. Now, if he should come up and pass Morgan Shepherd, and again, it's not so much if as when, there will only be 5 cars on the lead lap as Morgan Shepherd is running 6th.
And there will be no Fords on the lead lap.
Yes. Here's John Kernan with more on Morgan Shepherd.
Well, I just talked to Eddie Wood, and he says, you got something to throw out on the racetrack? Please do. We need a caution very, very badly. The car that's been pushing tight all day long continues to be so. Morgan having to fight the car as we see Jeff Gordon go by Derek Coker now set his sights on Morgan to try and put him a lap down. But these guys in the Wood Brothers pit want to see that yellow flag fly very, very soon.
Has there ever been a driver lap the entire field here at Atlanta in this race? Yes, it happened in 1978 most recently when Bobby Allison was a lap over Dave Marcus at the end. In fact, it's been done 6 times in the Purolator 500.
Okay, here comes Jeff Gordon. He's on the inside of Morgan, going down towards turn 1. Well, Morgan is trying his best to hold him off, but then he's fighting a losing battle.
Yes, to no avail.
Oh, don't pull up now. Wow. I didn't know to come up.
And there it is again. He's passed another car. 5 cars now on the lead lap, and all of them on.
But here comes the Rainbow Warriors. Time to go to work, Jerry.
And watch it as they will go to work as the Rainbow Warriors get set for their final pit stop. Remember the miscue they had in Daytona? That was embarrassing, frustrating, and downright ugly for this team. They've had several meetings. They realize that 2 members of this pit crew are brand new off the championship crew of a year ago. It is their job to get their driver back on the racetrack and preserve what should be a certain victory here in Atlanta. Right side tires are on. Thus far, no miscues. But here's where the problem was in Daytona. The jack fell in Daytona. No jack problem right now. Left front, left rear tires are on. Left nuts are on. They pull it. A perfect pit stop in 19.9 seconds, and Gordon heads back to turn 1.
They did make a little bit of a chassis adjustment. Did you notice that?
Now, if we move behind this group of cars, we'll see that Jeff Gordon, the leader, has not lapped the 28 car. The 28 car is now back in the lead lap. He was able to run those 5 or 6 laps on those fresh tires that much faster than Jeff Gordon. Now he just hoped for a caution flag in this 2 or 3 lap window, because Jeff Gordon's going to blow by him in just a second.
With all the pit stops having been made, it's back to Jeff Gordon setting the pace for this event with 284 laps now and of 328 completed. He is about to put the 21 car a lap down. Morgan Shepherd running in 8th position at the moment on the lead lap, but now goes a lap down once again. Dale Jarrett is just ahead in 7th position. The old tomahawk has really been waving here this afternoon because Jeff Gordon has been making a shambles of this race. He leads the Labonte brothers, and we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Live coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup Purolator 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coming up next, right after our live coverage, will be the first race in the 1995 International Race of Champions from Daytona International Speedway. Paul Page and Benny Parsons will be there to describe the action. And, of course, we're not going to say who won the race. Let's just say it was one of the most exciting and perhaps controversial.
Then Jimmy asked the $64 question. How about the 24 car? Can you get the 24? Bobby paused for a moment and said, are you kidding? He's in another zone. Forget that.
That's right. He's another area code.
Yeah, actually, everyone an opportunity to come in for an extra pit stop. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
And we will see 4 tires going on the car number 24 of Jeff Gordon. They will not put any fuel in the car. They don't have fuel cans here. They will just possibly tighten the car up slightly. Let's check in up where you are, Jackaroo.
Well, Jerry, it's a case of monkey see, monkey do. If the leader pits and you're on the same lap and you have any hope, you try and stay out. No, you've got to come in, take on fresh rubber. That's the case with Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte. Let's go back upstairs.
You can see there's only 4 cars on pit road because you have to be on the lead lap pit right now. As Labonte comes out, here comes Labonte, Gordon, Labonte, and Labonte. Earnhardt still in there.
And let's see now if Jeff Gordon can do what he has done earlier in the day. Yeah, that is pull away from everybody. Labonte, and Earnhardt are right behind, but Jeff appears to be pulling away. Meanwhile, Terry looks they come down. There will be 19 laps to go for Jeff Gordon. This will be the 3rd consecutive victory for the Rick Hendrick team. Jeff won at Rockingham, Labonte won at Richmond, and Gordon is leading in this one. And he has a 0.6 of a second lead over Terry Labonte already.
And Bill Elliott turned his car in the infield rather than stall on the back straightaway. That was a very nice thing for Bill Elliott to do.
And all that battling for second position is just more good news for Jeff Gordon, who continues to lengthen his lead over these 2 cars. There he is, and there is 2nd and 3rd.
Gordon is just hoping the same problems that Kenny Schrader had a moment ago, whatever that was, that caused Schrader to get in the wall down in turn 1. Doesn't happen to him.
Now there is almost complete overcast. Sun hit by the clouds, and that may again spell the difference in somebody handling good or bad. Labonte running in 2nd position could equal his best NASCAR Winston Cup career finish. He was 2nd at Rockingham 2 races ago. And now he begins to pull away from Terry.
Bobby Labonte has had a very good race car all day. Jimmy Maycar, all that crew, has done a very good job.
Sure has. He's been in the top 5 all day and in the top 3 most of the day.
There's Bobby Labonte we're talking about.
Coming down now, and there are 11 laps to go. 317 complete.
Bobby Labonte was gaining there. I think that was just half of the show.
Well, I believe he is pulling in and gaining a little bit, but I don't know whether he has enough. Yes, he is. Yep.
Man, what this piece of?
Car going down the straightaway here with a lot of smoke is Steve Grissom. I don't think that's going to mean a caution or play any kind of a factor, but Grissom was smoking, just for your information, as he came down here.
Don't let Jeff Gordon see that, because that's also a Rick Hendrick engine.
And Bobby Labonte, Benny, does continue to narrow the interval between himself and Jeff Gordon.
Jeff just let me catch up.
Sure. As you would if you were out there in the lead. Right. Yeah, I'll just back off here and make it a good race. at Brooke. Hoping that her husband can win his 4th NASCAR Winston Cup race.
That's correct.
Charlotte and Indianapolis last year.
Rockingham this year.
Yep.
Ray Evernham watching.
Yep. He too is hoping that this dominant race by Jeff Gordon can continue to the checkered flag. But
wow,
7 laps to go. Look how close it is, and look how Bobby Labonte is cutting into Jeff's lead. Don't go away, folks. We could have a real interesting finish here. Terry Labonte has dropped back to a comfortable 3rd, and Dale Earnhardt is in 4th position. Those two are not in a position to battle each other. This is where we keep our focus with 6 laps to go. It's now down to about 8 or 9 car lengths.
Joe Gibbs watching his driver.
Joe Gibbs branching out into drag racing in 1995 after some success in Winston Cup racing. And look, it's down to 3 or 4 car lengths now.
Yep. Jeff Gordon did not get to turn 4 that time very well at all. The car pushed up. Evidently the car has taken on a push after that last tire change.
Bobby Labonte has never won a NASCAR Winston Cup race. He is close to being able to do so, but can he? That is the question. He gets through the corner bending much better than Jeff Gordon, it looks like.
Looks like the Jeff's car has picked up a push, as I talked about.
4 laps to go. Gordon trying to hold off the challenge of Bobby Labonte. The interval still 4 or 5 car lengths.
And you know that Ray Evernham right now is trying his best. Rick Hendrick trying his best to talk Jeff Gordon and talk this car on. Jeff, take it easy, don't push it so hard.
We talked earlier about the young lions, those who do not have a whole lot of experience in Winston Cup racing. Jeff Gordon is in his 3rd full year of Winston Cup competition. And Bobby Labonte also in his 3rd full year of competition. One of those two will come away the victor here today, most likely. Here is Jerry Punch with more on the story.
Guys, motivation is so very important, particularly at this stage of the race. Jimmy Makar is telling his driver every time he comes by, Bobby Labonte, he says, you can do it. You can do it. Bobby, you can do it. Repeatedly saying those words. And a minute ago, Ray Evernham told his driver, you're the man. It's your race to win. You're the man. Every time he goes by now, he says, 2 laps to go, you're the man.
Well, there is only 1 lap to go. When they come down, there's Ray Evernham talking to Jeff Gordon. Here's the white flag. We have 1 more lap to go. The interval has not shrunk in the last couple of laps. Jeff has been able to maintain this lead over Bobby Labonte. And now as he moves through the 2nd corner and sees the middle of the backstretch, he knows that there's only a half a lap to go. Still separated by about 4 car lengths. Here comes Bobby Labonte's final bid to take the win here this afternoon. They move through the 3rd and 4th corner. Off of the corner onto the straightaway. It looks like Jeff Gordon is going to win it. Yes, indeed. Gordon wins the Purolator 500 by a car length or 2 over Bobby Labonte. There's Terry Labonte finishing in 3rd position and Dale Earnhardt in 4th, and the celebration goes on in the Jeff Gordon pit. Here's Jerry Punch.
And Ray, congratulations. The car ran perfectly.
Well, it did, and I gotta thank God first. I didn't do it at Rockingham, and I gotta thank Jeff Gordon and all these guys second. You know, they make my job awful easy. Hendrick Motorsports gives us great engines and great cars, and Jeff Gordon's about the best driver I've ever seen. And these Rainbow Warriors, I don't know, they make me look awful good. I'm just proud to be associated with them.
What a cheerleader. You kept saying, you're the man, it's your race, don't let them take it. I mean, those last few laps, you guys back and forth talking to your drivers. Hey, outstanding effort. 2 crew chiefs, 1 and 2, and your great friends and motivators.
I'll tell you, this is fun. It really is. This racing's all about when you can have fun and you run second. I told Bobby I'm not normally happy about second, but I'd soon run second to him if I have to run second to anybody. But before this year's out, Bobby Labonte is going to cross the line in front of Jeff Gordon, I promise you.
Okay, crew chiefs here. Hey, Joe Gibbs, who owns both second-place cars standing by with Jack Arute.
And Jerry, the first man.
Jeff Gordon wins, and Bobby Labonte comes home in second position. Well, that was closer than I thought it was going to be, Benny.
I tell you what, Bobby Labonte made a great charge there at the end of the race. It almost pulled it off.
He sure did. Good run for Bobby Labonte all day, but the man who dominated this race was, without question, Jeff Gordon. His fourth career win in 66 races, third win for Rick Hendrick in 4 events. Here's Jerry Punch in victory lane.
And Jeff Gordon about to climb out of the car. And folks, he is a very popular driver, not just among the fans, but among the crews here as he gets unbuckled. And let's take a listen. Here's the winner of the Purolator 500.
Stay around, Brooke. Don't run off on us.
He got a big hug and kiss from Brooke Seeley Gordon. She is Brooke Gordon now. He called her Brooke Seeley at the banquet, forgetting he had married her just a month earlier. And he celebrates here. Has a nice cold drink after a long afternoon. And Jeff, congratulations on an outstanding day.
Oh, man, it sure was. These guys gave me a fabulous car today. I got to take my hat off to this whole DuPont crew. Man, this thing was on the rail. Bobby gave me a little bit of... He got me pretty nervous there at the end of the race. But, you know, we came here to Atlanta with the same car that we raced in Rockingham. It's an awesome car. Man, we might have to take this thing everywhere. But wanted to come here to Atlanta. We announced our new sponsor, Coca-Cola. They're an associate sponsor. I mean, DuPont does everything in the world, and we're really glad to have them. But that new sponsor that's here home, Coca-Cola, we're really glad to have them, so this one's for them.
Jeff, let's go back to the beginning of the race. Early on, there was some anxious moments. You and Earnhardt down in turn 1. That had to make your heart skip a beat. What happened?
It sure did. You know, we had a little bit better car than he did at the time, and it was really hard to pass once you got, you know, out and the tires got some heat in them, so I wanted to get by him as quick as I could. I saw an opportunity. I didn't want to pass him low. I know what it's like to pass Earnhardt low, but we got by him, and then, you know, he did the famous Earnhardt move and got right back underneath me coming off of 2, and I thought, well, if I can stay outside and race him down into 1, we're all right. Well, it was one of those contests that nobody wins. You know, it's like who's going to let up first, and neither one of us. We drove down real deep in the corner. He slipped up a little bit and got in the side of me. I had to check up a little bit, got high. Bobby got by us, so we had to chase him down. But it was a lot of fun, and hey, you got to earn your rights when you're racing with Earnhardt.
Let me ask you quickly, you mentioned at Rockingham you were going to go buy a pool now after you won a lot of money there. What else is going on in the house? How about some landscaping? What's the next room you're going to add?
I don't know. We're going to have some accessories now, I guess, but we're going to have us a nice pool, I say now.
I think Brooke was talking baby. How about it?
No babies. No babies for a while. That's we're gonna have to win a lot of races before we do that.
How about that, Brooke?
No, it's gonna be a while, definitely. A couple of years.
If those wins just keep on coming as they keep smiling here in victory lane. Let's go to John Curtin, who's got a family with him, the Labontes. John?
I'm in a Labonte sandwich, Bob Jenkins.
Jeff Gordon, the winner of the race, led 250 of the 328 laps.
Here, Jeff Gordon scores the 4th win of his career and drove away handily. We'll be back to talk with more right after this.
Not only was I impressed with Jeff Gordon today, but I've been impressed with he and his team all year long. Daytona 500, he had one of the best cars there. Won the race at Rockingham, went to Richmond, a good race car, and dominated here again today.
I think all he has to do is be consistent to be a championship contender. He's had 2 bad races, 2 good races, or relatively bad races, and 2 good races. If he's going to win the championship, he has to be consistent. Dale Earnhardt's worst finish of the year today was 4th. He's consistent. That's why he still has the points lead.
And we're going to 4 tough racetracks from here. Darlington, Bristol, Martinsville, North Wilkesboro. How's Jeff Gordon going to fare at those racetracks? That's going to determine what kind of chance he has winning the championship in 1995.
And all of this oversees a celebration for the Rainbow Warriors and Jeff Gordon, the 4th victory of his Winston Cup career. The 24 car takes the win here today. Well, don't forget, IROC is next. Our live coverage here at Atlanta comes to an end. I'm Paul Page for Benny Parsons, Bob Jenkins, Jerry Punch, John Kernan, and Jack Arute. Thanks for spending the day with us, and stay tuned for the International Race of Champions.